Welcome to Agenda Edina, a news program summarizing the actions taken in these chambers that affect you most. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty. We can't move forward until you mail it back. That's the message coming from the U.S. Census Bureau. This month, census forms will be delivered to every residence in the United States and Puerto Rico. And the Bureau is asking that they be mailed back as soon as possible. The U.S. Census counts every resident in the United States and is required by the Constitution to take place every 10 years. The 2010 census will help communities receive more than $400 billion in federal funds each year for things like hospitals, job training centers, schools, senior centers, bridges, tunnels, and other public works projects, and emergency services.
So for right now, the information we're using is from the 2000 census, and it's pretty stale. So we really need people to answer the census so we can know what Edina is really all about as far as our people and the services that we are providing.
Population figures collected by the census will also help determine the number of seats Minnesota has in the U.S. House of Representatives. Any personal data provided is protected under federal law. The 2010 census form is one of the shortest in history, containing only 10 short questions, and officials say it can be easily mailed back in the postage-paid envelope provided. Bureau officials also warn that if you don't mail back your form, you may receive a visit from a census taker who will ask you the questions in person. April 1 is National Census Day, and forms should be mailed back by that date. Despite the recession, construction cranes are still operating in Edina. That's what Mayor Jim Hovland told a crowd last month during his annual community address.
Development in our town continues.
Hovland, along with Edina Public School Superintendent Rick Dressen, presented Edina's State of the Community in February. The two shared current trends and projections affecting the city and the school district.
Because we know the research tells us over and over the most valuable part of the instruction and the most valuable part of the learning is the instruction their teachers can provide them.
Hovland reported that while the value of new construction was down by 30% in Hennepin County from 2008 to 2009, Edina saw an increase of 22%, nearly all of which was attributed to residential projects. Hovland said that only about 16% of the city's new construction was commercial and consisted primarily of developments at the Weston Galleria, Crate and Barrel, and Centennial shops. From 2004 to 2007, new construction in Edina made up 6% of all new construction in suburban Hennepin County. In 2008, that number increased to 11%, and in 2009, it was the most for any suburban city at 15%. Two large commercial projects are currently under construction in the city. Twin Cities Orthopedics is building a 75,000 square foot clinic at 4010 West 65th Street that is scheduled to open this fall. The law firm of Helmuth & Johnson plans to move into its new 35,000 square foot office space at 8050 West 78th Street in November. One developer is a step closer to breaking ground for an assisted living project in Edina. In February, the City Council granted a developer preliminary approval to construct the Waters Senior Living, a 4-story, 150-unit senior assisted living building on land owned by the Colonial Church at 6200 Colonial Way. The proposed project would include 112 assisted living units, 28 memory care units, and 12 care suites. 20% of the units would be affordable housing.
Seniors don't have to move. You pick a unit, you move in, and we bring the services to you. So it's not like there's an independent wing of big units and an assisted living wing of little units. They're all nice-sized units of 800 square feet and larger.
Colonial Church plans to sell 6 acres of land to the developer, but retain partial ownership of the new development. A similar partnership exists between Normandale Lutheran Church and the Colony at Eden Prairie. Their church members volunteer to work with the seniors living on the campus. Colonial Church is expected to appear before the Planning Commission and City Council again this winter for final approvals. A proposal to honor the community's veterans is gaining ground. In 2009, Edina resident Mike Gorgon approached the city with the idea of building a veterans memorial to honor all those who have served our country, particularly those Edina residents who were killed in action.
It's always been my belief that as a community we cannot do enough for our veterans.
The Edina Park Board is in the process of forming a subcommittee to provide input on the design, raise money, and research the names of Edina veterans who died in service. The city's Public Art Committee will help oversee the design, and the Edina Community Foundation will accept donations. Utley Park on West 50th Street has been identified as a potential site for the Veterans Memorial. After more than 3 decades, the manager of Edina's Braemar Arena has hung up his skates. Edina 16's Marty Dahl caught up with a longtime arena employee and hockey enthusiast to reflect on 33 years of managing Edina's most prominent ice.
During his hockey days as an Edina Hornet,
these are all of Edina's state champs.
And his time on the ice with the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
And highlighted, I have to say, by the play of Larry Thayer.
Edina native Larry Thayer lived and played by the hockey player's creed.
Just work hard and do it the right way.
Those who worked closest with him will tell you it's the same way he ran Edina's Braemar Ice Arena for the last 33 years.
He gave it everything he had, and he put the job ahead of himself.
He really cared about this facility and the customers. I think that was the biggest thing.
A former standout goalkeeper, Thayer never strayed far from the ice.
And started as an ice guard and worked my way right up through the ranks as a Zamboni driver.
In 1978, he was promoted to manager, and over 3 decades he helped see the facility transition from a single sheet of ice to a 3-sheet skating mecca.
Over that time, we've grown, developed, and it's really become quite a complex.
Now headed for the greener, less frozen pastures of retirement, coworkers are left to reflect on the memories of their hard-working, hockey-loving friend.
Larry had some great stories about playing hockey back in the day.
Like the story of his very brief stint in the NHL.
I'm 1-0 as a pro.
5 years after his college playing days had ended, Thayer received a call from the Minnesota North Stars, who, due to injury, were in desperate need of a backup goalie.
So I was right about to this position of hanging up, and I said, "This is a joke, right?" And they said, "Oh, no, this is real." That was my one night in the NHL.
And while Thayer admits that retiring after one night in the pros was easy, retiring after spending half of his life on the same frozen pond will be slightly more difficult.
I played with a lot of teams and a lot of the best teams, and you typically don't remember too many scores, but you'll always remember the co-workers, the teammates, and all the relationships that I've developed over those 33 years.
With photographer Brian Smith, I'm Marty Dahl, Edina 16.
Thayer's last day with the city was January 29. Assistant manager Doug Bauman was named interim arena manager. Still to come in the program, find out how you'll be able to get the freshest fruits, vegetables, and other produce this summer right here in Edina. But first, a daring rescue by the Edina Fire Department when we return.
I don't see the difference.
You must have a preference, rain cloud or lover's coral. They both look like gray.
Maybe we should just go with wallpaper.
Looking for a better place to golf? If you're looking for a new home course, join Edina's Braemar Golf Course. Patron cards are now available for non-residents. Because Braemar really is a better place to golf.
Welcome back to Agenda Edina. When a Farmington man became buried up to his chest in corn at the bottom of a 50-foot grain bin, members of the Edina Fire Department's Special Operations Team were on the scene to rescue him. In February, authorities were called to the Feely grain elevator in Farmington after an employee fell into one of the elevator's large storage bins. Edina joined a number of area fire departments and tactical rescue teams as they attempted to free him. Responders cut a hole in the top of the bin, and a team of Edina firefighter paramedics were placed on existing scaffolding above it. Crews spent hours lowering rescuers and supplies down into the bin in an attempt to dig the man out. Authorities say that rescuers were unable to pull him free due to the weight of the corn around him. Two Edina paramedics, Pat Sandin and Ryan Quinn, were among a team of rescuers who were lowered into the bin for hour-long work shifts. After more than 8 hours, rescuers were eventually able to free the man and raise him out of the bin using a safety harness. He was taken to a nearby hospital but was discharged shortly after with only minor injuries. The City Council approved a new outdoor shopping opportunity coming to Centennial Lakes Park this summer. Photojournalist Aaron Klein and I recently had the opportunity to find out more. Here's the story. In just a few months, the snow around Edina's Centennial Lakes Park will be gone. The ice rink will revert back to water, and instead of snowbanks along the walkway, vendors will be selling locally grown, farm-fresh produce and flowers.
It's fantastic. It's a great idea. People want fresh things that are picked that day or a couple days beforehand. They know they're all local vendors. That's really what they want.
Stephanie Mayer is one of the many Edina residents who are already planning to offer their products at the new farmers market.
People really want good quality food. They've cut back on a lot of other things, but they want good quality food.
Everyone that we've talked to seems very excited about this. Everything from the local residents here that can walk to the market to vendors that have wanted a farmer's market in Edina for years.
Tom Shirley, Centennial Lakes Park manager, has been very involved in making the farmers market a reality, including helping change local law to allow for it.
There's been a code on the books for a number of years that you couldn't sell produce in any of the city parks. And we felt that now was the time to kind of get that changed around to kind of meet the needs of the residents.
Vendors at the Edina Farmers Market will be set up here near the Centrum building north to the Park Lawn Bridge.
25 different vendors, and we'll have everything from fresh produce, vegetables, fruits, even some treats such as candies and breads, things like that.
So if you're looking forward to warmer weather, flowers, picnics, and all the wonderful fresh produce that grows in Minnesota, know that you can now stay in Edina and enjoy the great outdoors while you shop. A grant from the Statewide Health Improvement Program, or SHIP, sparked the idea for a farmers market in Edina. SHIP is a health reform initiative of the Minnesota Department of Health. One of the initiatives the city of Edina chose was to increase residents' access to fresh fruits and vegetables. The new farmers market will be open Thursday evenings from June 25 through mid-October. While it might not be a Super Bowl ring, Edina's Park and Recreation Director has a new piece of jewelry that represents his sports accomplishments. Here with the story on John Keprios' induction into the U.S. Specialty Sports Association Hall of Fame is Edina 16's Brian Smith.
When you truly love a sport, you always find a way to stay involved. For John Keprios, softball is his passion.
You can never really hang it up. I still love the game. I still play the game.
He's really been a true supporter of softball over the years, and especially in Edina. And he's still very passionate about the sport.
Edina has gone from softball fields to softball complexes because of John.
And some of those accomplishments that I'm proud of is the Van Valkenburg softball complex, which I work from start to finish with architects and developers and whatnot. So very proud of that. And that's been under my reign of terror as director.
John wants to make sure that Edina gets a chance to love softball as much as he does.
Softball is here to stay, and I'm proud to say I've been a part of that success.
Keprios' work paid off when he was recently inducted into the Minnesota United States Specialty Sports Association's Softball Hall of Fame.
We're just really proud of John, and it's just been a long time coming, and I know that he's always very humbled with awards, but very, very deserving.
Typically, this award is given to those that have athletic ability and are great at the game. As much as I love it, I know I'm not being recognized for that. It's more for being a desk jockey and being behind the scenes and assuming all those leadership roles, and it's been a lot of fun.
This is Brian Smith reporting for Edina 16.
Keprios was one of 2 administrators to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. Of the other honorees, 6 were softball players and 1 was an umpire. The opening left by Jeff Long's promotion to police chief has been filled. Another longtime member of the Edina Police Department, David Nelson, was recently promoted to deputy police chief.
I'm really excited to have Dave as deputy chief. I think that we're going to complement each other well. We have a lot of goals, some of them rather lofty, but I think it'll be beneficial for the police department and the city as a whole.
The deputy police chief assists and supports the chief of police in planning, coordinating, and supervising police department personnel. Nelson says he will work with the department members to help carry out the duties and responsibilities of the department in a manner consistent with its goals and objectives.
Just really looking forward to the opportunity and the challenge of being able to serve the public as the position of deputy chief for the city of Edina.
Nelson joined the Edina Police Department in 1991 after working as a patrol deputy for the Anoka County Sheriff's Office. He worked as a patrol and school liaison officer before being promoted to investigator in 1997. He was promoted to sergeant in 1999 and lieutenant in 2005. He was also a member of the department's emergency response team for 5 years and is in the process of completing his emergency management certification. In Edina, students not only learn about local government, they participate in the process by holding special positions on some of the city's advisory boards and commissions. Edina 16 Scott Denfeld has the story on one student member of the city's Transportation Commission.
Last month, Edina High School senior Julie Sirks was crowned royalty.
Okay, girls, go ahead and open your box.
Named as a member of the school's Sweetheart Court in February, she presided with 19 other seniors over the student body. And while she says she enjoyed her reign in the Sweetheart monarchy, Sirks focuses more of her attention on a different, more democratic form of government.
I wanted to be on really any of the commissions just so I could get more involved into the community. And
interested in government, Sirks applied for and was appointed to the Edina Transportation Commission in late 2008 and was reappointed last year. As a student member, she is the youngest voice on the commission.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it because I think it's interesting to see how city issues get resolved and how they work through them and try to give a student's perspective on the issues for them.
The Transportation Commission advises the City Council on matters related to the local street system, and during Sirks' tenure, she has reviewed many projects and proposals.
The Transportation Commission has a huge benefit by better understanding younger drivers' concerns, traffic safety, transportation issues.
An active member of the class of 2010, Sirks participates in concert band, 212 leadership group, and Project Earth at the high school. She was captain of the Hornets soccer team and is a member of the student council.
Julie is a very special and outstanding young lady, and so obviously she is a very good ambassador for Edina High School.
Sirks has signed with Northwestern University, where she will play soccer in the fall. With a taste for government, the teen says she hopes to get involved in campus politics.
In college, I want to try to find student government or other fun intramural things.
Officials at City Hall say there is no doubt that the sweetheart of the Transportation Commission will go far after graduation.
Everybody really wants you to be able to do all the different outlets you can have, and so that's one thing that's really I've appreciated is all the support you get from the school and the community.
Along with Jennifer Bennerat, I'm Scott Denfeld, Edina 16.
Sirks' term on the Transportation Commission ends in September. Student appointments to boards and commissions will be made by the City Council again in May, and students will begin their one-year terms in the fall. Before we go, we want to highlight some of the many upcoming events in our community. The Edina Art Center will feature a faux-si glass exhibit March 4 through 24. Hand-blown and sculptural glass by 12 artists will be on display. Edinburgh Park and the Edina Chamber of Commerce will hold their annual Easter egg scramble March 20. Kids ages 2 to 5 can meet the Easter Bunny and collect prize-filled Easter eggs at races scheduled for 9 and 9:30 a.m. The Easter egg scramble is a sure sign that spring is around the corner. Thanks for watching this month's episode of Agenda Edina. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty.